بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. لله تبارك وتعالى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله ta'ala wa barakatuh. I pray that all of you are doing well, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finds you in a state of gentleness and well-being. I wanted to, inshallah, as I know I missed the last 2 days, but as I told you before, my circumstances in my life are changing as I have expecting any day now new additions to my family. So I have a lot of family matters that I need to attend to, and sometimes it just doesn't allow for me to be free at this moment. Inshallah, soon it will be past and we'll get back to our normal schedule. But in the meanwhile, inshallah ta'ala, as I can, I will come and join with you. I wanted to have some reflections on last night's Black Imams Roundtable, my reflections, and to answer an important question that is always raised when we have such discussions. And that question is, why do we talk about that's the question that's asked. Why do we talk about Al-Wahhabiyya? And I want to answer this question, and I want to answer it thoroughly to the best of my ability. And Imam Naeem sent you up and join in. If you want to join in, you're welcome to join in, Ak. Do you want to join in, Ak? But I'm minding you, I'm going in. I always mess with Imam Naeem. You know, I love these brothers, mashallah. Come get some smoke, Ak, right? So that's questions always arise. Why are they talking about this issue? All the things going on, and this is all they got to talk about. And I want to start okay, mashallah. May Allah make your work easy, and may Allah grant our people to see how important it is to have you working for a da'wah and not for a livelihood. And inshallah, free us so that our whole time can be spent teaching our people, because we need it. May Allah answer that dua. Give you abundant sustenance so you can just spend all your time teaching and educating our people. Let somebody else go chase Dunya. We need some people on the battle lines of teaching. Uh, so uh, why? I want to start by saying this. For every circumstance, there is the appropriate speech. For every situation, there is the appropriate speech for that situation. Whenever I talk, especially now, it wasn't always like this. But as I get older myself, I start to realize what's important. Every day when I wake up and I look at my young sons, I start to realize what's important for their future every day. I look at the situation and I immediately fast forward 30 years, 20 years, sometimes even 50 years. And I imagine, I ponder, and I think, what does it look like for them 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now? And I think all of us should do that to an extent. What does tomorrow look like for you and your offspring? When I think about that, I then begin to realize my responsibility, right? Okay, since you're thinking about that, what's your responsibility in ensuring that they have the best opportunity to succeed within whatever you imagined that may exist? And based on that, for me, a lot of my work comes out. And when I look at the situation of my people, and just in case you don't know, I am an American from African descent who was born and raised in America. So some may say African American. My reality and those like me is totally different in its unique way than every other person's reality on the face of the earth. I'm going to repeat that. My reality and those like me is uniquely different from the realities of every other people on the face of the earth. I want to ask y'all a question, those who are like me, with that description I gave. Can you identify what I just said? Would you agree what I just said? Now, the one who's not like me may not realize it, but the one who's like me, what's your thoughts? Would you agree that our reality is uniquely different from the reality of every other people on the face of the earth? That is on the social, political, economic, educational, religious level, and more you can add. So that's very encompassing. Socially, we have a different situation. Politically, we have a different situation. Economically, we have a different situation. Educationally, we have a different situation. Culturally, we have a different situation. And religiously, we have a different situation. It's real. So when I think about all these things, that means I have to live and think in that context. Because I'm not dealing with another context. I'm living in that context, that reality. Many of us, and we're going back historically within our context, when we became Muslim, or our parents or grandparents, depending what generation you fall in, most of us were trying to get out of the racist, social, political, economic, religious philosophy of white supremacy in one way or another. We were trying to escape that. That's why we became Muslim. Most of us. We saw in the reality that we were faced something that was not conducive for our growth and development and success as a people. So we went to Islam. That's the vast majority of us. With that reality, we had a context and a situation that we wanted to become free of subjugation, oppression, manipulation, and many other detrimental realities that we face when we face this system of white supremacy. Okay? So that leads to a conversion to Islam. Now we get to Islam, and we believed that this was the solution for us to be delivered from the hands of our oppressor, from the thoughts of our oppressor. That's where we went. And many of us, I don't know any of us hardly, it's such a small amount, have went through our Islam through various changes of learning to get to that thing that we want to give us that freedom we were looking for. Our people. We never had a continuous generational transmission of authentic Islamic knowledge. We're always fixing mistakes, generation after generation after generation, even if it's only 2 or 3 generations. So we all came into Islam, most of us, and when I say all, the ruling, let me explain this to you. The ruling for a thing is by what is the most dominant of that thing. That's how we consider something. When we say all, it never means every single individual. It commonly means the vast majority of people. I wanted to put that in there. So the vast majority of us went through several stages to get even where we're at today. And even today, the vast majority of us are still working it out. I think that's safe to say that we went through various stages of learning our deen, seeking what we came into Islam for, and discovering you was on this wasn't right. Then you learned a little bit of this. Then you discovered this wasn't right. Then depends how long you've been around. And I like to engage us in this. How many of you would agree with the general point that I'm making? In general, I'm not speaking of specifics as you as an individual. In general, do you not see within our condition this pattern? Making sure y'all with me. Tell you. So with that said, and that reality, any of us who have went through those stages, if someone was to tell you, no, stay where you at, don't cause no confusion, stay where you were at. It's all just theory, what they call that? Subhanallah. What's the word they use? Semantics. Just stay where you at. How many of you would have accepted that when you first embraced what you believe to be Islam? Stay there. Now, hindsight, and someone told you stay there, what would be your statement now? We're engaging, right? You can type. Y'all like to type a bunch of stuff anyway. So type. Someone told you when you first came to Islam, what you thought was Islam, whatever it was, and that was your first stage, stay there. It's only semantics. No need causing any trouble. Just stay there. How many of you would have accepted wherever you were at? Right. So with that point, we wouldn't accept, right? Nah, I need that wasn't working. So with that in mind, I say to myself, and you can think, if I would have stayed where I'm at, where I was at, where I started, I wouldn't even today be considered a Muslim. By agreement of everyone who learned about Islam. Where I started at, what I thought was Islam, today, by agreement of all people who learned about Islam, among even my people, that's not Islam. Right? So that wouldn't have been something to stay, right? You wouldn't even been counted as a Muslim because of the development of knowledge. So with the development of knowledge, you're going to learn things that you didn't know. You follow? You're going to learn things you didn't know. I remember when I first uttered the Shahada, the group that I uttered the Shahada with, the movement, we looked as Black people the most organized, instructed Muslims in America. Hands down, if you want to look on the outward look. The stuff we see people doing like that, we was doing in the 70s. I wasn't, I was a kid. But in the 80s, we were doing the same clothes, Arabic, Jumu'ah, same stuff, right? But the Aqidah was wrong. But outwardly, man, we was rolling, if you want to look at it that way. The outward appearance, I don't think no one in the country could compete with us to this day in an outward form. So if you take out the issue of correct belief and just use the appearance, that was excellent, if you follow me. Our women covered, they wore veils. Our men dressed in garbs, pure white, covered their head. We prayed, we fasted during Ramadan. We spoke Arabic. We did all the stuff. Our children spoke, some of our children didn't even speak English, right? We did all that. We established schools. We built our own masajid. We did all of that. But what was the issue? We had the wrong belief. And today, everyone would agree with that. Right? Today, everyone, the belief was bad. And we shouldn't have stayed there. Now, this is going to be critical. So don't get offended. That's why I like, sometimes I talk about my own experience so others don't get offended because I can handle it, right? But sometimes we can't handle the truth. Even when it comes to us, we don't talk about everybody else. Don't talk about me. No, let's talk about me, right? So there is a learning curve. A learning curve, let me say, right? And all of us had to go through that. And we're still going through that. Since most of you've been following this, I'm going to give you an example. We are very explicit on this platform. Very explicit. No cut card. We're Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. What does Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah mean to us? Al-Asha'ira wal Maturidiyya in Aqidah. That methodology. In fiqh, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi, Hanbali. In those methodologies. In spirituality, Tasawwuf, following the methodology of Sufism. All with an unbroken chain of narration back to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to those great imams, to those great madahib, to those great scholars, and from them back to the followers and the followers of the followers and the companions, back to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's our route, right? That's us. We stick by it. So when we say that, we have a methodology. That which does not conform to that methodology, we believe is false. And if we believe it's false, and we have evidence that it's false, just like when we were not following what was right, we wanted to be told the truth because we came to Islam to find the truth, then it is incumbent upon us to explain to our people specifically, because that's the first line, you got to take care of your family. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, what means, oh, you who believe, save yourself and your families. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ku anfusakum wa ahlikum. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That's a command. So we have to teach our people. And in every time, there is a different struggle of misguidance that are confronting people. I want to ask y'all something, African Americans, in your communities, from experience, y'all can tell me. In your masajid, in your masjids, in your community discussions, Black people, African Americans, I'm talking to you specifically, and everyone else is welcome to learn. Just like we hear your story all the time, so listen to ours, right? For Muslims in the African American community who say they're Muslim, whether they're right in that or wrong in that, they believe they're Muslim, is a bigger concern for them atheism or different understandings of different Islamic groups? That's their biggest challenge. Whether to be atheists or to figure out which group in the Islamic groups is right. What's the biggest challenge from your experience in your masjids, in your communities, among African American Muslims? Are they worrying about being atheists or are they worrying about which group is right? What's their bigger concern? I want to ask you. I want everyone to answer. We have like too many people here. By the way, Facebook didn't knock us out from last night because the numbers are so high. I see it. So alhamdulillah. Okay. So I need everyone to answer for y'all all over the country. I want your answers because I want to know if I'm thinking correctly based on our collective experience. Right? So, and this will help our other brothers and sisters in Islam who don't experience our reality and start talking for us. Because they quick to do that, speak for us and have no idea what we're going through. Right? Finding a spouse wasn't an option, Habibi. We wasn't talking about that. It wasn't. I know that's some issue, but we ain't talking about that issue. That's a whole nother issue. And bigger than that is finding some money, right? Right? So in other communities, though, they worrying about keeping their children and believing in God altogether. That's not our issue, right? That's not our issue. So if we spend our time talking about something that is not really relevant to what's actually happened to us on the ground, right? You know why our kids are not going to the masjid? Many of them who want to go? Because of a narrative that's been in our community for decades telling who's misguided and who's not, and they don't know which one is right. Some of our youth who may want to be involved, but they see us fighting among each other, and I don't mean physical, debating, and they ain't allowed to solve that question, who's right. So they just back up and go to dunya and whatever. That's a reality. From talking to young people, right? I'm on the ground, so I'm not speaking in the air. Why is our masjids empty? Because this idea has had people not knowing what to do. So there's a little at this masjid, a little at this masjid, and some people just threw in the towel. This is a reality, right? So with that being in mind, we have to address the issue. We have to address that issue because it's a preventative measure from us moving forward. We have to settle the issue. We can't ignore this issue because they in the streets, but they still believe they Muslim. They're not talking about I ain't a Muslim. The confusion just led them to the streets, in addition to the society that's leading them to the street. But then in the masjid, they find all the arguing and debating, and then they're told that don't go here, don't go here, don't go here. But they're not talking about I'm not Muslim. Matter of fact, they'll get upset you challenge their Islam as a Muslim. That's our communities. That's what we deal with. So this is an issue that's not going to go away until we solve it, until we clarify it. Because remember the initial thing we kind of agreed on, we came to Islam to find the truth. We didn't come to Islam to be confused about the truth in Islam. That's not why we became Muslim, right? We didn't become Muslim to say, now I'm Muslim, I still don't know what I'm doing. Nah, that's not why we became Muslim. We became Muslim to be on the truth. And then to use that truth to liberate us from oppression. That's the reality. So that's a process. And that process, we have to be willing to go through it. With all that said, I want to ask you a question, because a lot of you follow every morning. For years, some of you have been following. How many of you who've been following us, whether on the Black Imams Roundtable, whether Imam Naeem's classes, Imam Fahim's classes, my own classes, have learned multiple things that you never knew? How many of you can honestly say that from studying with us, listening to us, hearing all these discussions, have discovered things you never knew about Islam, about our history, about the way we acquire knowledge, our scholars, our teachers, our books? Let's just go on and on and on. How many of you? What if we just remain silent? Wouldn't that be an injustice to you? We just remain silent. Don't say anything. I got it for myself and you figure it out. Wouldn't that be the height of injustice? I haven't seen one person that came here and said, I knew everything you were talking about. I understood it and I could express it myself. I ain't met one person like that. And if they told me that, I know they lying. Straight up. I wouldn't even say you mistaken. You're a liar. There's no way in the world you knew every single thing. And I mean most of it. Some of the things we talk about, I know it ain't even available. So I know you're not telling the truth. That's not true. So therefore, it is important for us to clarify and explain. Our biggest fitna in our communities is Al-Wahhabiyya. And I'm going to give you the evidence of that. Now it's going to get smoky. I'm glad I only got 20 minutes. The vast majority of us in our community went through 3 basic movements from the 70s into the mid 80s. At a first stage, we either were Nation of Islam, then followed the transition to the leadership of Imam Wafdi Muhammad, rahimahullah. We came through the Darul Islam movement and that transformation or some connection to it. Or we came through like Ansars, 5%, that whole type of ideology, some Black Islamic movement, right? Most of us, if you want to do a trace of our communities, that's where most of the people came through, one of those movements. All of those movements, every single one of them, to this day, are still developing. To this day. Do you realize that? To this day. Every one of those movements that we came through are still in a state of developing and learning Islam properly. Do you realize that? I'm talking about what we're talking about regularly. They're still in a transitional phase to even get to that point. Seriously. So we're talking about from the 70s. All right, I'm sorry. More Science movement is the same thing, bro, with the Ansars, that type of Black. I mean the same thing. I didn't mean to exclude you, but that same stuff. Because the Darul Islam was quote unquote Sunni Islam, quote unquote. Orthodox Islam, they used to call it back in that day. The nation became under Wafdi Muhammad, and that was a specific movement. And then you had all those other Black Islamic quote unquote movements. So you could put it all, that's why I put it in that light. Remember, I'm not talking about every single individual. No, I accept. So here we are from the 70s in our context, and we go further back for the elders. Some of us go back to the 50s, right? So at 50, we kind of old right now, right? So 50s, 60s, 70s. So the 70 babies are now old people, right? I was born in 1970. That means I'm 53 years old. We on the other side. So if you 60s and 50s, subhanallah, right? So let's say from the 70s to now, we're talking about 50 years. And 50 years of Islam, we still in the beginning stages of our development. I want you to think about that. Remember, I started off talking about when I look at my babies, and I said 50 years because I actually lived it. I saw it with my own eyes, what 50 years of trying to figure it out looks like. And I'm looking at it firsthand. I'm watching. And you're watching firsthand. Let me give you an example. Let's be honest. We're going to have some real honest, hardcore talk. I'm going to have to finish this tomorrow too. Where is our traditional Black leadership that we, as a collective of Black Sunni Muslims, agree to follow? I want you to be honest. Give me one person that we agree to follow among us. One. Give me one. And it's going to hurt. Give me one. It does hurt. It bothers me. I think about it all the time. Give me one. That we collectively, the majority of us, are going to follow. Let's keep it real. Think about that. Now, when you got your children, you need to really think about that. I'm talking about collectively. I ain't talking about who you like, right? Collectively, not just you. We're going to have a critical mass following somebody of us, and it's from us. Who? Do you follow my point? I want you to think about that, because we're talking about why. If we follow Wahhabiyya, the answer is nobody, right or wrong. Think about it. If we follow Wahhabiyya, or so-called their new name Salafiyya, none of us are qualified to ever follow. Am I right or wrong? Nobody. Not a one. Not a one. Not one person should we follow. Not one. Think about that. But this dwell on that. That's something to think about. And if you doubt me, all of these people who studied in the Wahhabi methodology, all of them African Americans, to this day, graduate after graduate, every single one of them who got any kind of possibility of being an authority to look at was canceled. Think about that. I want you really to really think about this stuff. Go back, because I'm from the East Coast, right? I'm in the heart of the battlefield. I remember when I first came back to New Jersey and the scene, every one of the people who were leaders among the Salafiyya Wahhabi are now canceled. That's deep. The people that when I first came back to the East Coast, the leaders, all of them are canceled. Ain't that deep? I want you to think about that. Not one of them is not a deviant. Don't something register to you? Something ain't right here. Think about it. All right. I'll because you know me, I'll hold my tongue. Not when it comes to this. When I came back to the East Coast, it was 1999, 2000. In the East, in this area, the leaders were Abu Usama al-Dhahabi, Abu Muslima, Dawood Adib. All three of them are considered deviants. By the next generation of graduates from the University of Medina, the next generation, this new generation of leaders, all consider them as off the path. And they were the leaders. So you're talking about, it didn't even last 20 years. Think about that. When I came back on the East Coast, Bilal Phillips been pushed away a long time ago, right? When I first came, Abu Muslim's masjid was the center of the Salafi movement on the East Coast. Was the center. And I one day, and I'm me and Abu Muslima, we all right. We the same, so I guess we don't have no choice but to be all right. We hardcore dudes, right? But I would love to have a discussion just about this issue. Like publicly. Just about this issue. Because we both on our people time. He is and I am too. We got different approaches, but we share that, right? This is an undeniable fact. So we got to ask what happened, right? That's something to think about. It didn't even last 20 years. Not even 20 years. What's wrong here? What's wrong? Something's wrong. And the new generation, I want you to pay attention. The new generation that were after them are now deviants as well. So they only had a few year run, not even 20 years. Ain't that some deep stuff? I want you to think about it. They didn't have a 20-year run. Then the next group, they already deviants. And I guarantee you, the next group that's getting ready to send back, they won't last 20 years. Something ain't right here. Where our tradition lasts 4,000 years or more. And all of our challenges of narration, our shuyukh are still the shuyukh, and they are stuck in that way for 1,000 years, 1,200 years. And then to the time of the Salaf, unbroken. Why that can't happen for us? I want you to think about this stuff. This is just something to just listen. It's not a debate. This is stuff we can examine, stuff we can talk about, stuff we can really put our hands on. It's right in front of us. And guess what? It's right in front of us. And we still don't see it. It's right and staring you in the face. Something ain't right. Now, maybe you can't distinguish what's the problem, but something definitely is wrong. You know, like the astronauts say, Houston, we have a problem. Something ain't right. Something is not right. We have to put our finger on that. I would tell you, to summarize it, my observation, they hoodwinked us again. And we have to scrap that mess and start again. Sorry for the bad news, but it is what it is. They hijacked our religion. What we're looking for exists, but we have to go get it. What we're looking for does exist, but we have to go get it. And from our standpoint, man, I can't leave my children to this. No, that would be a crime. That would be a crime. That would be a crime. To leave our children, the next generation, in the same situation that we've been watching our whole entire Islamic lives and do nothing about it. Say nothing, don't learn, right? And here's my thing. They did such a good job, right? That we won't even do the work together because they did us so good. They did the job so good on us, we won't even come and search for facts together. They got us to the point, don't talk to him. He's a deviant, misguided, don't sit with the people of innovation or this and blah, 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 blah. Both sides. They played a game on us, man. And we're sacrificing our generations for the thing we came to Islam for. We're giving it up to be slaves. That's sad. Not to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of greatness and high status. To people who are controlled by the people we've been fighting against ever since we came here. That's some deep stuff, man. We become slaves to people who are controlled by the very people we've been fighting against since we came on the shores of North America. Man, that's deep when you think about it. When I watch that stuff going on in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, that's all that comes to my mind. I'm like, Dad, we've been hoodwinked. They did us. They got us. We in our communities fighting for a doctrine that has surrendered to the people we were fighting against in the beginning. Ain't that some deep stuff when you think about it? Like, that's deep. And the very teachers of those people are telling them, don't say nothing about our people, just go fight your people. You can't make this stuff up. Don't say nothing about our people in the kingdom and all the transgressions they're doing. They're the leaders. You don't go against the leaders. But go back to your communities and rip your people apart. Deep. Subhanallah. And they gave them a budget. Those corrupt leaders gave the religious authorities from their people a hundreds of millions of dollars to go do the job. Wow. You know, Ben Baz, his budget to spread that Wahhabi stuff was hundreds of millions of dollars. hundreds of millions. And it landed right in the inner cities, in the Black communities, where it caused the most destruction. I want you to think about that stuff. Listen, I got attacked by, and I'm talking about Wahhabis, by Sunnis. And you know what my issue was? I talked to the leaders of them. I said, okay, I don't want to talk about all that. I want to talk about all this racism you got going on. You want to distract me with rhetoric that doesn't have anything to do with the reality we're dealing with while you subjugate us. Let's talk about that. How come none of us are qualified to really lead? We've been learning with you for decades. Why we don't have our own leaders? You got your own leaders. And if I'm historically correct, your leadership didn't happen to the 80s. We've been working in our communities for decades. How did you just start in the 80s and you run in our community? That don't make no sense. That don't make sense. All right, let me run that back. You stuff just started in the 80s. We've been building communities since the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and now you in charge of us? And none of us are capable of building anything? Come on, man. Are we that stupid? Are we that hoodwinked, bamboozled? Really? I want you to think about that. And that's what I was telling the person. I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. This doesn't even make sense. I know. You want us to cancel our intellects. Don't critically think about this. You ain't even fix your country, and you coming to tell me how to deal with something we've been dealing with. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our work. And your stuff's a mess, and you telling us what to do. Let's get this. Let's get this together. Come on. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. But guess what? We going for that. We actually accept that stuff. We actually believe it. And that's why we don't have no leaders. Despite people graduating from all over the Islamic world with degrees, we still ain't got one leader that we can follow. We don't even got a group of people we can put together. Somebody did a number on us. We got to talk about that. I believe this is one of the biggest numbers that have been pulled off on us. That's why we talk about it. Because this was our way out. And Mr. Charlie said, not so fast. I got something for you. Here you go. This was our way out. This was our connection. If we would have just took that through Africa, through around the world, it would have been a whole nother look. Now, they put a detour, and we went right on the detour into the ocean, and we drowning. Right off the cliff. And they're smiling. That's some deep stuff. Our enemies are smiling. I'll pause there. As I think about it, I get a headache. Like, because we are a hard group, man. SubhanAllah, we are a hard group. Right? We don't pay attention, man. Signs be right in front of us. We just be like that's some deep stuff, man. And that's why I'm not afraid to talk to any of those Wahhabi people. Not a one. Whenever you want, let's kick it. Right? Because honestly, you're a victim just like me. So after all the entertainment and all of quoting and the fake stuff, and Dawood, Imam Dawood Walid's words, Ninja, we in the same boat. I don't know what you're talking about. You're going through the same thing I'm going through. But you knock it off. Like, I got you, but you need to stop it, bro. It sounds great, but you know, and I know that's cap. 100%. You and I know that. Now, I know you got to justify your indoctrinated education. I got that part. But when we finish with all that, can we deal with reality now? Right? Let's not. All right, we finished that. We got it. You finished quoting your ayat and your hadith, mixed all the heck up. I got all that. Now let's get to reality. What we talking about? What we talking about, bro? Really? And if we ever be honest, see, when somebody don't know, you don't have to be honest to them. You could tell them anything. But when somebody knows, you can't lie to them. I want you to keep that in mind. When someone doesn't know, you can tell them anything. When somebody knows, you can't lie to them. You can't. They know. You can't lie to me. Who are you lying to? Yourself? I know better than that. We have a real talk. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. That one who don't know, you might could tell him that. But no, we actually read. We actually listen. We got receipts. You can't tell me that. No. And you know better than that. Stop. So what we try to do is highlight what we understand to be a major barrier to us ever really getting our true freedom as a people. And I sincerely believe and know with certainty that if we ever get Islam right, watch out. And that's why I believe there's a concentrated effort to make sure we stay confused about Islam. So we ever get it right, watch out. Watch out. These people ever get the deen right, we in trouble. So we got to confuse them. And it's sinister. It's sinister, man. Seriously. It's sinister. But there's a such thing as the devil. So it is what it is, you know. But it's a process. So I'll take a few questions quickly if you had some. I didn't see them. So if there are some questions, put them back because I missed them. Yeah, boys, don't type me now. Come here and get some of this work. Let me see. Excuse me 1 second. While you put your questions, I got one already. If there's more, just put them up so I can tag them. If you have more questions, put them up. I'm going to tag them, inshallah. Solly, do you want me to get you or you want me to stay low? Because you tripping. But you're back, so I don't want to pick on you and then you be like, disappear because Imam Amin's too hard. So do you really want me to answer all that stuff you said? Or no? Should I leave it alone? You tripping. You tripping. Right? Like big time, you tripping. But if you want me to go in, I will. Or you just retract all that stuff and call it a day. Right? What's a worse disobedience in the sight of Allah? Meaning, in the religious ruling, dressing incorrectly or having the wrong belief of Allah Ta'ala. Let me be explicit so there's no confusion. If you covered everything except one eye and had the wrong belief in Islam, especially that belief that leads to disbelief, is worse than if you were no clothes with the correct belief. And I'm using that for super emphasis. If you covered everything but one eye and you had the wrong belief, that is disbelief in reality, it would be better for you to have no clothes with the correct belief. Why? Because no clothes, if you knew it was wrong, but you did it, while believing it's wrong, is a major sin and you deserve to be punished. But you have the correct belief, you deserve to be punished. So I don't suggest you do that. But if you dressed fully and had the wrong belief, that is disbelief, you're going to go to hell forever. So obviously, that's a worse form of disobedience because your clothes are not going to protect you from a bad belief. But that bad belief will protect you from disobedience. Ultimately, that is not kufr. That's not disbelief. And I went extreme just to make the point because it's extreme. With that said, cover yourself properly according to the sacred law while having the correct belief. Did you follow me, Sister Trina? I know that was a harsh analogy, but I was deliberate in being so harsh so that you see the importance. Oh, I didn't see it. When it comes to me, it's just a question. I'm sorry, I don't see. So when you have a question, I mentioned that before, put question before it because I know y'all chatting and I can't see all that. So y'all answering each other and it looks all one thing to me. When I look at it, it looks separate. I don't see someone said this and you're answering to that. I don't know the difference. It all looks like a question to me. So let me read, since somebody else don't want to address it and don't want to come on, I'll take care of it. Let me go back to this. And listen, I I want to address this, because some of us, we suffering and we need help, and we got the right stuff, but we ain't still, our knowledge is still kind of defective, and we need to improve, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't act like we somewhere we not. We need to improve. Okay, we need to learn more. No problem. Let's learn. Because now I got to go back. I've been talking to find this statement. I'm going to answer this question because it was similar to the other question. It was a statement, but I'm going to correct it. And if our brother didn't mean it the way he said it, he should rephrase it. But I'll address it. Because we're trying to win. We're not trying to lose. No matter what. Even if it hurts. We have to fix this issue. I'm going to address it. It was addressed, but I don't know if people paying that attention. Wow, it's way up there. Yeah, I ain't going for that stuff. I'm sorry. Y'all see me talking to myself, right? That means I'm getting ready to go in. But since you keep doing it, I guess I have to. I have no choice. Some of us know better. Let me take that. Sarli, you're welcome to come on and answer that too. If you want, I'll send you the link and I'll let you in. Because you got to stop that stuff. We need you more than you believe you're needed. So I'm going to address it. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We barely follow our personal obligation according to the four schools. Our women don't cover right, wear makeup and perfume. The men don't properly dress, neglect sunnah acts as well. Talk the thoughts of their aqidah and train them to know the difference. But creating hate, we're no better than the Salafis. I vehemently disagree with you. Vehemently. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm fair. If you want to come on, you're welcome right now. I'll send you a link. In fact, I don't know where you at, but let me give you the link. I'll give you the link right now. We can discuss it. And I'm not trying to put you down or anything, but you got to stop that stuff, because you have the ability to teach. You have the ability to help the situation. And that stuff ain't helping. So if you like, there's the link. You're welcome to come and give your point, because I'm not going to address you and not give you a chance to clarify. Right? And Muawiyah, you can join him too if you like. Right? Because we're talking about this issue. The creed is a non-negotiable item. Right? That's a non-negotiable item. Even if the person didn't perform their obligations correctly, don't cover right, don't wear makeup, wear perfume, which I don't know where you get, that's haram, but nevertheless, let's take it as from the Salafi approach, right? And the men don't dress properly. I don't know what kind of Sunni Muslims you know who learn their religion and don't dress properly and neglect Sunnah acts. None of that overrule having a correct belief. None of that. They are sinful. They need to practice. But how do you equate that with someone who is teaching things that directly oppose the consensus of the Ahl Sunnah you talking about? Explain. You're welcome. I send you the link. I'm not, you can come. Explain that one. Explain that one. How do we equate a bad belief with neglect in the rules of the religion, while having the belief that they are obligatory rules in the religion? How do you equate the two? Explain. Based on Ahl Sunnah, since we Ahl Sunnah. That's not cool, huh? That's not acceptable. That's not even something that anyone who studies Ahl Sunnah could equate. We're not equal. Not in that. Now, if we're sinful, we're sinful. There's the link right there. And I'll let you talk. I'm not going to, I want you to clarify yourself. There's the link. Come on in and I'll let you in. Because you're a teacher. And it ain't like we don't know each other. So we don't got to do that. You're welcome. You know me. I ain't, you know. You welcome in. You welcome. Go ahead. I'll let you explain. Come on. We're waiting for you. Because maybe you saying something that I'm misunderstanding. How you don't see it? I ain't conflating no issues. Y'all still suffering from Wahhabi love. And I got it. But don't change, don't make that a rule. Listen, I'm still suffering from Ansar love. I got it. I get that point. There's the link right there, Habibi. As soon as you come in, I'll let you in. I get that point. I understand it. But we can't make the rules up. We can't make the rules up. And that's what I'm talking about, being firm as Ahl Sunnah. Right? We got to get that issue together. Yes, all you got to do is the link is with StreamYard. You know how to do it. Y'all do it all the time. Act like you don't know. You know what you're doing. That ain't no nah shake. That's the problem. You're equating someone with I gave you the link, Habibi. Go ahead. Join the link. Don't let me talk for you. Talk for yourself. You ain't my enemy. It's public. I just ain't gonna let nobody in but you. Right? And I get it. I get this empathy, because I come from that. I got it. My homies is like that. I come up in that neighborhood. Somebody copy this link and send it to Saleh, who got his phone number. Stop making excuses, Habibi. You know how to get through. And that's all I'm saying. I got it. I know the feeling. I'm not like strange to that feeling. But come on, man. We know better than that. We know better than that. Go ahead. You ready? All right, listen. So let's set the rules. We're having a real conversation. I'm not going to insult you. Don't make the mistake and insult me, right?
Why would I start you, man? I love you, man. Why would I just because I don't agree with you don't mean I love you, man.
Because this is a chance to have a real talk. So we're going to have a real talk. So I don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want you to feel like he getting ready to do me. No, let's have a real talk.
Listen, I love you, man. You dived on me in future. See, they don't know about the stuff in the background.
All right, go ahead.
You get what I'm saying? So we
explain yourself. Read your comment. Hold up, let me give you your comment. Y'all guys got to stop, man, because y'all really could be teachers, really, and we need y'all, but we got to get this stuff together. So I'll give you your statement, and you can put it in the context you want. You remember your statement, or you need me to put it back up?
You can put it back up, so for educational purposes, so people can see too what we're talking about.
All right, let me find it. Whoever's fast, if y'all can cut and paste. Now I got to go find it. So many comments, Habibi. All right, but go ahead. You know the context. Go ahead.
Okay. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Okay, the one you put up that I seen first, because I had to take care of what's going on in the house. When I said that, we have to worry about our backyard, right? I think that's the one I said that.
Let's clarify our.
Ahl Sunnah, right? The people.
Who's Ahl Sunnah?
The people who follow, right, the four Mazahib, and and where we agree upon with the other three schools.
No.
That's what we're going to agree upon. We're going to disagree.
What we disagree on, let's be explicit. So when you say we, that means we together. Where we disagree, say we disagree. Don't do that.
But that's why I said I said where we disagree at the three schools of Aqidah.
Give me Ahl Sunnah.
The people who follow the Ash'ari, the Maturidi, and the Hanbali in proper Aqidah, right?
Did you learn now? Do we agree with that? And we're specific about that, right? So when we say
I'm speaking of the people who do tafweed from the Hanbali school, the tafweed.
Okay, but what do we say? We say. So that's what you say. What do we say?
No, it's also said in your book of one of the books that you was teaching about the three schools. I put it up in a post before too that a lot of
I ain't talking about
because the three schools.
Clear. What do we say?
That's what we say.
No. You hear me every day. You ain't never heard me say that.
That's what I said. That's what you say that. But
okay,
according to a majority of the books,
because you're saying we, somebody may mix me and you together. I don't agree necessarily with some of the stuff you may say. So what do I say? You told me what
you say the Ash'ari and Maturidi. That's what you say, correct?
And
okay.
Let me add to that while we being clear. And whoever agrees with them in methodology, right? Even if they don't say Ash'ari and Maturidi, because I don't want to conflate issues. Because to me, when you say Hanbali, what I see is a lot of Wahhabi stuff in the name of Hanbali, but that's another story. And I want to be clear. So when we say we, I mean Al-Ash'ari and Maturidiyya. And those who have their same methodology, even if they don't use their name. I don't go outside that. So this Hanbali thing, that's your stuff. I don't say that.
That's not our stuff. That's in a book that you're teaching.
Listen to what I said. And how many times there's mistakes in books that I don't agree with, and I clarify it.
But clarifying it doesn't mean that it could be correct if some of the greatest ulama wrote it.
When you say we, that means you putting me in it. So I'm going
to
say.
If the majority, such as the
listen, when you say we, that means you including me. So when you include me to something I don't agree with, I'ma just stop you. We don't got to debate that issue. That's another story. But I'm just saying you said we. So I don't want nobody to think that I agree necessarily with something you say that I don't agree with. So I'm going to say it. Do you follow my point? That's it.
All right.
Because you know what I say. I want you to say what I said. That was it. Go ahead.
Okay. And I said that I just thought that we have to start cleaning up our own backyard, right? And what I mean by this, right? If we like we are fond of teaching the al-maqasid, right? We're both Shafi, so we both taught al-maqasid. I even sat with you and learned some of it, right? Didn't get a chance, because of my own personal life to finish it, but I did finish it with some people. But if we're going to Aqidah and al-maqasid, he breaks down the basic fundamental belief of what Ahl Sunnah believes, right? And what I say, we need to teach that, learn that, and practice that. And then whatever we disagree with the Salafis, we need to identify, say, look, we don't believe in that. This is what we believe. And I'm with you with that. But how we are teaching is to the point where anything that looks Salafi, such as if you dress, you talk, you act, not even talking about belief. We're talking about the zahir, just apparent, what somebody looks like. People will hate you because you look like something. And we're creating more and more of that. Oh, he's Salafi. They go here. We're doing the total what they do, but on the opposite side of the coin. I don't hate them because they still, at the end of the day, they're Ahl Qibla. They're people who face the Qibla. I don't believe your deviant belief. I don't, and I stand on that. I stand on that. But we have to stop creating hatred and understand that once we learn the proper belief, we can teach them. Because if we really in the trenches, Philadelphia, South Jersey, all of that, you will understand the majority of them don't know what they believe. They're parrots. They are parrots to the Umar Finches, the Anwar Wrights, the Hassan Somalis, the Tahir Whites, all of them. They're parrots to them. They don't know, but they was created to be brainwashed about these things, just to utter these things, but they really don't know. So if you create that bond with them, like, look, man, look, this is wrong. And then when you got people that come from their background, I'm not talking about the Salafi background, but the background that I sold drugs. I was in the streets. I understand that. But bro, what you're doing here with this is only going to cause this, and this is only going to cause this. This is the proper belief. This here. We got to stop causing that division amongst each other and come up with this place where we can teach them. And understand that we come from the same environment you come from. Salafiyah was easy for us to pick it up because we was beefing with our own neighbors before Salafiyah. You know, where you from? You was beefing with another particular project, historically. You grew up like, nah, we don't mess with them guys over there. I grew up, well, we don't mess with them guys over there. We see them, it's up in the air. So it was easy to attack that. Don't talk to these people, don't sit with these people, because we was already embedded to do that. I don't mess with them guys now. So we got to learn the way, okay, we got to take this and do this. And then when I said that we not, you know, with us of learning our own backyard, going back to dress, even if we go into Reliance of the Traveler, it speaks about the sunnah of the men wearing a white robe, women wearing a black robe on Jumu'ah. I mean, a black overgarment on Jumu'ah. Do we do that? Do we run to the sunnah? Or do it because it looks Salafiyah, we negate it, even though it's spoke about in our own books? When you go into the back of Reliance of the Traveler, it speaks about dress. Do we implement these things? That's all I'm saying. Then we need to really check ourselves instead of hating everything that Salafiyah brings to the table.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I listen to you. And you could, I don't want to cut you off. So is your point established or no?
Yes, it's established. Go ahead. It's established here.
Okay. You said al-Maqasid, which we agree on, right?
Correct.
Right? The creed of al-Maqasid that Imam An-Nawawi mentioned. Imam An-Nawawi was what?
Ash'ari.
Say it again.
Ash'ari.
And the creed of al-Maqasid is the creed of the whom?
The Ash'ariyah.
Okay. Do we say anything different?
No.
Okay. Now, is the creed an obligation or a recommended matter?
An obligation.
Is wearing white and a garb or any of those black or whatever you mentioned, is that a recommended matter or an obligation?
It's the Sunnah Act. We want to say Sunnah.
Okay, Sunnah is recommended.
Sunnah, recommendation.
Okay.
For the layman, the recommendation.
No, for no layman. We are laymen. Stop it. We are laymen. Stop.
I'm talking about the people who really don't even know what Sunnah mean and fiqh and all these other things. Okay,
let's say.
So you're right. Recommend is a recommendation.
What does Sunnah mean in fiqh? It means recommended. Stop. Right. Stop. Let's not act like we somebody we not.
But right? It also means for one to perform it, receive reward, and one who leaves it off, do not get
recommended. Punished. That's what mandub means.
But now,
listen, let's just be real. Let's not play games.
I'm not playing games.
It's a recommended matter, right or wrong.
But that's not important.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you one question: is it a recommended matter or is it an obligation?
Is a Sunnah act? I'm gonna say Sunnah. Me myself, I'm gonna say it's a Sunnah act.
Let's you Shafi, I'm Shafi. According to Maqasid, which you read, is Sunnah considered recommended or obligatory?
Recommended.
Okay, let's stop. Right? So it's recommended. Are you obligated to fulfill obligations or fulfill recommended matters? What is an obligation? Meaning, if I don't do it, I'm sinful. Which one?
The obligation.
Okay. So that means the creed that Imam An-Nawawi mention is an obligation.
Correct.
Those things you mention, and if you leave it out, you are sinful. You are sinful, right or wrong?
Right.
And the things Imam Nawawi mentioned, if you leave them out, you are a disbeliever, right or wrong?
Right.
Those things that you mentioned that we've fallen short in, they are recommended matters. If we leave them out, are we sinful?
No, we're not sinful.
Now, do
But do
we
we receive?
deserve punishment for them?
But do we receive? But see, that's the thing.
Answer
Here
the
it goes.
question.
But
We
this is
talk
where
to
I'm
you
gonna
like,
disagree with you about.
okay,
Just
what do you
because it's
disagree with?
not recommended doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. The
I didn't
people
say
say
that. You said that.
Dad,
Whoever
that
said
you
that.
read from say we need to
Answer
say
the
we should not
question.
neglect.
Listen to the question. I got you. My question was, if it is sunnah, if it's a recommended, are we sinful if we don't do it? Yes or no?
No, we are not.
Okay. If it's an obligation and we leave it out, are we sinful and do we deserve punishment?
Yes.
So how are they the same?
Nobody said they're the same.
All
I
right,
didn't say they're the
let me go
same.
back. You mentioned recommended matters, and you said we censor those, or we don't do those recommended matters, or we censor them, and it's the same. My question to you is, how is it the same when one is an obligation and one is a recommended matter?
I didn't say it was the same in that post. I didn't say it was the same.
No. You said we no different from the Salafis, and I
Yeah,
disagree.
because and what I mean by that is by causing hatred on each other.
Who's
To the
causing
point
hatred?
where, like, okay, where I broke it down, saying that okay, anything that looks Salafi normally is because of a Sunnah act. They look like this because they're trying their best to implement a Sunnah, right? Because it looked like this, due to what we're explaining, oh, it's only recommended, it's only this. By loving the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we also go with what the Sunnah asks. We don't neglect the Sunnah prayer before Fajr. We don't neglect the Sunnah prayer before Thor and after Thor. No, we do these things because we love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what I'm saying is that we cause hatred because they look like this by implementing this. I'm with you with Aqidah. I'm with you with Aqidah.
Let me ask you a question. You've known me for over a decade. Do you ever hear me talking about somebody because how they dress?
Have you ever you came at me one time. You came at me one time when I came in the message.
I mean, messing with you. You mean I'm messing with you? Because y'all guys sometimes be intimidated by trying to look like Fulan and Fulan.
See, there we go. It's not about. I'm trying to like the Prophet. I don't care about them.
All right, but
listen, like I don't care about them shit. I don't.
My point to you. My point to you is, you know us very well. Have you ever heard me as a teacher, any of us, criticize a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Come on now.
I didn't say you criticize. I never said you
have
criticize.
Have you ever heard us once ever say that the Salafis are wrong for following sunnahs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Have you?
I'm not saying that neither, shit. I'm not saying that neither.
When do we only criticize those so-called Wahhabis or Salafis when it relates to what?
Aqidah, but also with that, right?
Or contradicting the rules of the sacred law that is agreed upon, right or wrong?
Correct.
That's it. Come on, man.
But no, but this is what I'm trying to.
If someone who's not learning does something, don't make that our problem. If we're among ourselves joking with each other, that's something totally different from the rules of the religion, right or wrong.
But that's not what I'm getting at, Imam Amin. I'm not getting at that with that. What I'm trying to emphasize, right? It's okay that we speak about Aqidah, right? But when we identify, say the Wahhabis do this, the Wahhabis this, trust and beliefs, they're coming from a younger guy, from me to you. But what's out here, from me to you, it tends to create hatred with everything they do, not just with the belief. We would tend to do the same thing that they were doing to us, right? Not sitting with them, not talking with them, and to the point where, like, even with the singing girl, she went up there and was arguing with the brother Hassan Somali.
Listen, can I ask you a question? I want to ask you a
And
question.
now you're going back and forth because there was some sort of hatred there.
Are you talking about learned people, or are you talking about people who just don't know? I'm asking you. Who are you talking about?
Who are we teaching? If we're laymen, then it's all of us, right?
Are you talking that learned people do that, or people who don't? They just follow.
So who's the learning people? When I said earlier, I said because of the people, like you said, we are all laymen. So if we're all laymen, then it's all of us.
Here's my point. We're all laymen in terms of we're not scholars. Some of us are teachers, though.
Absolutely.
Some of us are imams. They don't have to be scholars. Are you saying teachers are doing that?
Teachers are doing what? Yeah. Teachers do that.
Telling people to hate people.
Man, teachers are doing that, man.
Who told somebody?
I'm not gonna put no names out, but if you know,
right, let me go better.
I'm not gonna
I don't
say
mind
names.
me being out. You ever heard me tell you to go hate somebody?
Did I ever hear you to tell me to hate somebody?
Yeah. You ever tell me?
Just because you don't say it, indirect messages create things.
Right,
you know, Jay-Z's the master of subliminal.
Have you ever seen me say I won't sit?
Yeah, actually, to a degree, you kind of put out there that don't mess with Abu Isa.
No. I talked to Abu Isa live.
Yeah, and then you said that, but listen to what you said to him, Sheikh. You said, oh, he learned a little bit of Arabic. He think he knows something. When you have an audience saying these things, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, Sheikh. You did. It's recorded. I recorded. I'll send you the.
You don't got to do a recording. He was live on the program.
But even saying that, but that's what I'm saying. Abu Isa is a person who learned and he teaches himself too.
All right, listen.
That's degrading. Now listen, when you degrade something, hold on, Sheikh.
I've never, ever, and you know it. I've never told no one ever. You know it. Don't lie.
I'm not lying, but Sheikh, I'm saying
because our honor is all we got. You have to be honest.
I'm not saying that. I don't do that. That's the point I'm trying to say. A subliminal message can be taken directly.
Listen, you know me well. I don't send subliminal messages. We don't do that.
But saying that, listen to what I'm saying to you. But saying that, that's a flex, Sheikh. That's a flex.
Listen, you know me well. We don't send subliminal messages.
But that's the flex, Sheikh. I'm telling you, it's a flex. And when you did that,
you know me well. We don't send subliminal messages.
But you know me well. All right, so I'm gonna ask you this, Sheikh. I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think that was right when you said that to him?
What I said to him?
To him. Live. It was in front of 64 people. So do you think that was correct?
Listen, he's doing something that I believe, and I said it to him, not to you, not to nobody else, to him. You're doing something that I think is wrong. And you need to correct that.
But Sheikh, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
That's an opinion.
No, he wasn't wrong.
I'm not arguing about that. What I'm telling you is, I believe he was wrong. I said it to him.
But you said it. You said it in front of 64 people, man.
Let me finish. I said it to him. Right? I didn't run from him. I didn't hide from him. I didn't tell nobody, hate him. I never did any of that.
But Sheikh, but just what I'm trying to break it down to you, Sheikh. You gotta listen to me too, bro.
To this day, he will tell you, if he be honest, I would never do that.
And actually, he will be honest and say, yes, you will. I'm telling you this because this is my friend. I can't tell you about what anyone else says.
You act like
I'm telling you, as your younger brother, I love you, and you know I'm gonna go to bat for you. Somebody do something, my boots.
I don't need you to go to bat for me. You know me. Listen, I need you to be honest.
And I am being honest.
Listen,
if you know me, you know I'm 100 too.
That's what I'm saying. You know we don't do that.
But saying that to him on that live was a flex, and that created people to mock, say, and disrespect him on the live. I'm telling you, it was wrong.
They all be that may be correct. That may be correct.
So can we say subliminal messages can create direct influence?
Listen,
can we say that?
Subliminal messages. Stop saying that. I say
subliminal messages. A flex is subliminal. It's not direct.
What's a flex?
Can send direct messages to the audience. Can we say that? Listen, if I be like this, if I be like, yo, look at him. Look, if I go. Send a message that's saying, yo, he's a joker, he's a clown? It sends a direct message to people who sees it.
Charlie, I want to share something with you, and I don't mind having this discussion. because I love you. I love you, right? I love you, and I want to be honest with you.
Sure.
When I talk about those issues, I got y'all politics.
Hold on, son. Hold on, son.
I understand y'all want to, see if y'all can negotiate your way so those Wahhabi Salafi peoples will one day become Ahl Sunnah.
That's not my policy.
Listen, listen. All right, I'm speaking. I understand that, but at the same time, I see the danger of this creed. I see how it creeps into our communities. I see it. So when I say to someone who I see doing that, just as I would want someone to say it to me, listen, you're waffling, bro. I would want you to say it, whether you say it to me privately or say it in front of 1,000 people. Listen, say what you gotta say. I need to have my correct belief. I'm not doing that. I'm never going to be in front of someone who's perverting the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah in the slightest way, and I'm going to remain silent. I'm not going to do that. Now, listen, you may say it's better to have that conversation privately. I've had that conversation privately. I've had it multiple times. When you're publicly saying something, I'm going to publicly answer you, right? If it was private, keep it private, then me and you talking. But if you publicly say it, then you publicly going to be addressed. I expect the same for me. If I'm saying something that is wrong,
But you can't be addressed, Check. You're around a bunch of yes men, man.
No, listen.
I'm going to be honest with you. Ain't nobody going to check you. Nobody going to say you did wrong. Nobody's going to say anything. And I know that for sure.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
I know that for sure.
Aren't you right here talking? Did I duck wreck? Did I run?
No, there's no wreck between it. It would never be no wreck between it. It would never be no wreck between us. But I know some people around you that ain't gonna tell you like Check, you wrong.
What I do, the same thing I'm doing to you with anybody you know. Would you ever see? You expect me to say no? I said that and didn't say it. No.
No, to a degree, I think you duck and wreck with certain people. Yeah.
Who?
I do. All right, want me to explain? Okay, I'm gonna explain.
Name one.
Okay, I'm gonna explain it. When Imam, when the sheikh that died, right, from Philadelphia, spoke to you about young boy, Mufti Munir. You said out of respect, you're not going to debate Mufti Munir out of respect of the older sheikh that just passed away, who everybody went to janazah with. I'm not going to say that's what was said, and that was directly said.
I tell you what, because you hang around them. Whenever Mufti Munir,
I don't hang around Mufti Munir. I'm not a Mufti Munir fan.
I'm saying to people, whenever Mufti Munir wants to discuss this issue, he's welcome on our platform, on his platform, whenever he wants.
Sheikh, he did. I got the transcripts of before when I sent it to you. You said, Sheikh, he wants to talk. You said, leave your name out of it.
When
I keep receipts too.
Okay, since you got the receipts,
I got the receipts too.
Listen, bring them whenever you're ready. And it ain't got
I got the receipts, man. I got the receipts. You told me not to. I said, yo, Sheikh, this one. I said this can help for a fundraiser of raising money.
Listen, we don't got to do all that. We don't got to raise money. Listen, whenever
it would be beneficial instead of putting someone on there like Akel who's going to, you know what I mean, who's not really.
Whenever you think, right? Whenever you think that the discussion needs to be had, bring them and we'll talk about it. So we don't got to say that, right?
It's also on the line. It's also on the line that you said yourself when you were speaking about Tahir. You said, I have nothing but respect to that man Tahir. No, he is the biggest deviant in Philly.
Listen, Abdul Mujib.
He's the biggest deviant. Why are we talking about everyone else besides the people who are plaguing the community? Tahir is the problem. Hassan Somali's the problem. Abu Hassan Malik, these are the problems. They are the Salafi spreaders. And if you say, yo, I got not respect for Tahir, why do you respect him for what? He's passing the deviant belief off. I don't got no respect for the man.
Abdul Mujib, because we're losing the point. Let me say this.
But why be on here bashing if we can't sit with the people who mean something that means something?
Abdul Mujib, here's what I want you to do.
Sure.
Whenever you think Because whenever you think that someone has something that we're disagreeing with that needs to be addressed and they want to address it, they're welcome. Do you got that?
Yeah, I understand. I'm here. I'm just
So if
cleaning up, straightening
anything
up a
in the
little bit. So I'm
past
sorry. I'm here.
was
I'm with you.
misunderstood, we are always, always, no matter who it is, prepared to talk about the issue. It's not personal, right? So if that is something that someone understands, they misunderstand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we clear there?
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm clear with you, Sheikh. I'm with
So
you.
whenever that no one's left out, whenever something we say or we believe is seeming that it's misunderstood or we're willing to talk with anyone. Do you got it? Is that clear?
Yeah. Clear.
All right. And you know that about me. If you didn't know that about me, I don't know how, but if you didn't, now it's clear. Do you got it?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right? So no longer do you got to say, I personally, the whole world is listening. Imam Amin said, the issue, right, needs to be discussed. We're welcome to discuss it. Do we got a clear point there?
Yeah, we definitely got a clear point.
All right. So any of those issues, we can discuss them. And listen, I want to say this to the people listening, right? We know each other. We come from the same background. We understand each other. And sometimes we work against each other when we don't have real talk, unintentionally. When we don't have real talk, right? We don't get to the point and we still deal with the issue. So I know it gets out, sometimes it's publicly, and
Oh,
you know.
listen, it's no drama. This is how. Listen, I'm gonna give somebody an example. What he said to me before. We was at.
No, we're gonna stop because you know
Okay,
what?
because I don't want nobody to ever think that it's drama between us.
But
It's
what
never
I
that.
don't want to do,
It's never that, y'all.
I would like to do this. You know what, Sauna, and I'm gonna give you my advice, and you can give me your advice. My advice for you, and this is me and you talking, and I've said this to you personally multiple times.
Right.
Right? Ak, learn this deen well. If you don't like the way some of us go about it, you learn well and you do it. Learn your obligations. Learn the correct belief. Learn the rules of the religion. Stick to it and teach the people. Right? That's what we want to do. Right? That's all of us. Right? And the whole world can want us to do something the way they want us to do it. That ain't the reality we live in. Do you understand? And you know that, and I know that. We got to do our work. We have to do our job. We the ones suffering from this stuff, right? So for us, at the end of the day, we have to learn. You know it, and I never change that. We have to learn. These are real issues, right? Let's do our work. We agree with that, right or wrong?
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. Shit.
All right. So I appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate the candid conversation. I'm not trying to be nobody. I'm trying to help us in whatever it takes. My reputation stands on its own. I don't worry about that stuff. I worry about us learning this religion properly. And sometimes we got to go through this. But at the end of the day, if we push each other to learn, we win. We save generations.
Absolutely.
Because you know what it's like to go through this Wahhabi stuff. You do. You've seen it. Okay. You ain't doing it because you learned something. We got to do that same thing to the
Right.
next person.
Right.
So
100% correct.
the idea of us, you know, if I'm not good in the methodology, you do better, but do the job, right?
Correct. You're right, Sheikh. It's more. It's more. It's more. I could do my. It's more I could do myself, and you're absolutely right.
And guess what? Some people are going to need my methodology, and some people are going to need another methodology. But all of us got to do the work, right? That's we all got to do the work. Do your part. I'm gonna do my part, right? That's us. We gotta do our work, right? And if we all do our work, the message will get out. Some people gonna be turned away by the way some people do things, right? And some people
Excuse me.
they need that. That's the only way they're gonna listen. If it ain't some entertainment, it ain't some drama, they not listening. But they still gotta learn. They gotta learn. So if they gotta learn through some little drama, mashallah, give them a little drama, let them learn. Right?
Listen, yeah, no, it's never to make my Sheikh look bad. Like I said, I'm fiery
You don't even
because
gotta
of him. Because of him and Mujahid. Mujahid Salam is fiery. I'm fiery because of Imam Salam. So
you don't gotta
don't think you
explain
come
that.
at him. Yeah, don't
You
think
don't
that.
listen. Don't worry about the crowd. You don't gotta explain that. Like we don't gotta. I don't take it personal. You know me, right? I'm a brother. At the end of the day, Imam Amin, Sheikh, you call me whatever you want. I'm a brother from the hood. I understand. I come from the hood. I understand. Right? We got work to do.
Right.
And we got to do our job. Right? So you got it out. Right? You express yourself clearly, right? Am I right, Salih?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, now get to work. Right?
Assalamu alaikum,
Got it
Sheikh.
out. Get to work.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
So there's no need for nobody back there telling some, oh, he didn't let me. Yes, he did. He let you talk. He ain't running. He ain't ducking no wreck. He's having a conversation. Get to work. Go spread the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah as Imam Nawawi conveyed it in Al-Maqasid. Since we agree on that, you Shafi'i, go do the work. Let's go get it.
All right.
Get it. Barakallahu bikum. All right, assalamu alaikum. I love you, Ak.
Love you too, man.
I know some people would like to see a different picture, and I may agree with you. But you know what? This is what we live with every day on the ground. This is our reality, right? And we can't escape it. This is what we live with. This is what we live with. And this is when all the cameras is off, all the lights, that's what we dealing with. This is the reality on the ground. We're not in some lofty tower where we ain't dealing with real stuff and real people. You follow my point? So we got to deal with it. And if it plays out publicly, it plays out publicly. Alhamdulillah. At the end of the day, I want us to learn. I want us to learn. And all of us don't learn the same way. Some of us can't sit in the classroom. Some of us cannot sit in the classroom with a book. Some of us is only going to get it on YouTube, on Facebook, in a debate. That's the only way we're going to get it. And you got to be, if you in dawah, you got to deal with every different type of people. Right? Ducking wreck ain't going to work. Ducking wreck is our term for when someone doesn't do it the way you want to do, you get out of it. Nah, don't duck no ruck. We're going to have the conversation. We try to do it in the best way, but we got to have the conversation. Because let me tell you something. If we have that conversation, sometimes that can be the difference from someone being guided or misguided. Sometimes that could be it. And that brother, he's brought many people that were not learning to come learn. Many people. Might not like he's disrespectful, he this or that. All right. How many people he brought that were not learning and now are trying to learn? He has his way. I have my way. At the end of the day, they learning. Right? At the end of the day, they learning. And that's what we want. Don't run from yourself. Don't run from yourself. Don't run from yourself. That's how this thing go. Sometimes we in the masjid and some people start cussing in the masjid. I can't lose my brain because this guy said a few cuss words. Man, at least he's in the masjid. I'm going to correct him. We're going to fix it. But some stuff going to come out. We from the hood. Some guy's going to drop a bag of dope in the masjid. It's going to happen. We can't lose our minds because we're dealing with a reality. It's a reality, man. It is what it is. You got to be able to deal with reality. If you can't, I don't know how you're going to do da'wah. Da'wah is not just for the elite, not for the educated only. It's for that guy and that girl who's struggling with all kinds of stuff. You got to do it. Because you know what? If you leave them, if you don't engage them, they're going to be picked off right by the Wahhabis. Because the Wahhabis got all the internet, got all the stuff, got all the bookstores, got everything. And that's why it's so hard for them to see anything else, because that's all that's in front of them. Hey, listen, man. I've seen real stuff. I don't got no fake blinders on me. I don't. I seen real stuff. We got to do what we got to do. So I hope any of you who didn't appreciate the exchange, appreciate the outcome of the exchange. Let me repeat that. Some of you didn't appreciate the exchange, and I respect that. But I hope you appreciate the outcome of the exchange. Right? Y'all follow me? And sometimes that's what we have to go through to get where we get. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, you still got to keep a clean heart. You still got to keep a clean heart. After it's all said and done, keep a clean heart. And keep the work up. Y'all know them conversations y'all have when y'all ain't on the camera. Stop acting like you don't know, right? May Allah reward you all. May Allah increase us. And don't worry about who's going to criticize you. They're not helping you anyway. That's why they're criticizing you. So don't worry about them. Right? May Allah reward you all. And we'll continue tomorrow, inshallah. But get the point. Barakallahu bikum. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.